Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today. She is a nail artist. Please welcome Nails by Ness. Hello, Ness, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So I definitely want to go ahead and get started by asking, where are you from and give us a little backstory about your upbringing and things of that nature.
Yes, so I am from Syracuse, New York. I am from upstate. Woo. Yes.
Cool.
Growing up, I lived in Syracuse for like a majority of my childhood. And then I
Mhm.
went off to college, and that's pretty much like all I really remember is like college for the most part. I was in college forever. That's like, yeah. But I started doing nails when I was in college, and that's
Okay.
when I figured out like, oh, this is what I really wanted to do. And I started
Right.
looking at there was only one nail school in my area, but
Really?
yeah, when I was looking at the dates for the classes, it was like
Mhm.
kind of like intertwined with my classes for college. So I had to wait until I graduated school
Right.
in order to enter the nail program. And that
Mhm.
was like the first thing on my to-do list after I graduated college was like straight to nail school.
What drew your interest like within regards to the nail industry, because I know you did speak about you started getting into nails during college. So what drew your interest like just having nails? Was there anybody that really inspired you to get into nails?
Not exactly. I always loved getting my nails done. And
Hmm.
I've always been like a really like eclectic type of person. So I would want like all these different designs when I went to the nail salons, and
Right.
they weren't really able to do those designs. And I'm just like, man, well, I'm seeing them all online. So where are these people at? And they'd be like in Texas and California. So I'm like,
Right.
whatever, I'm gonna do this on myself. So I just started practicing on myself.
Right.
And then people started asking me like, "Oh, hey, where'd you get your nails done?" And I'm like, "Well, I did these." And they're like, "Oh, well, can you do mine?"
Yeah, yeah, that's really, really amazing. Now, where'd you go to college in terms of like what you studied for?
I went to SUNY Albany and I studied psychology and social work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You was like, that ain't for me. I'm gonna get into nails.
Absolutely not.
You was like, "Oh, hell no."
Mm-mm.
But I definitely wanted to really, get into this question. So, in regards to your nail artists, top 5 nail artists, if you had, like, a top 5 or, a 3, top 3, that's fine. Who are, like, your favorite nail artists that you've been, looking at?
Okay, so I would say my number one, I'm gonna name her as my number one just because, like, from memory of like when I first started doing nails, this is the first person I ever seen doing nail art, and it's this lady online. Her name is Fly Nye.
Mhm.
Um, she's number one because when I started like doing nails, that's the person whose Instagram I was looking at all the time. I was looking at her art. I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
so cool. She did like a lot of graffiti art and things of that nature.
Yeah,
So I
she's
was
really talented.
very talented. So she's definitely on my top five list. Then the
Mhm.
second one has to be my girl Nails by Dev. I
Mhm.
love her work so much. Like everybody knows this. All my
Phenomenal.
friends know this. I boast about her all the time. Dev is an amazing nail artist. So when I started like really practicing character art, that's who I started following and like trying to like copy and like
Right.
like how all of her techniques and stuff like that and watch her videos.
Right.
My third person, it would be this lady. Her name is Vivian Zhao, I think. Um,
Mm.
she has a business called Pamper Nail Gallery. She
Oh, yeah,
sells,
Viv Shoe. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. She's really good at like portraits.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like art itself, like art on canvas,
Mhm.
I do that as well. And I paint portraits. So I like to look at her because I love like the way that she can put these like really detailed portraits on such small canvas, these press on nails. So I think that's really great.
Right.
I love watching her. Who else? I think that's it.
Okay.
I definitely have a lot of other ones that I definitely love, but those would definitely be like my top three.
Yeah, yeah, they're really, really talented, but also too, like, Tim Nail Studio, he's very
Oh yeah.
talented. Ball Pit Nails,
Oh, she's great.
she's absolutely phenomenal. I like another person I really like their work. Her name is Spiffster, and her work is very, very phenomenal. Like her work is very unique.
Mhm.
So she doesn't do like portraits and stuff like that. Like her work is very abstract and I kind of like that, that abstractness with graffiti. I like her style. Also Kanisha Sam's,
Mhm.
her stuff is very, abstract, colorful, earth tones. She's very phenomenal as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, those are really, really cool. But I definitely want to get into in regards to you having your own nail business. So what got you started with having your own nail business, and tell us about the journey.
Okay, well, I kind of did I fall into that? Yeah, I kind of did fall into it.
Mhm.
So I'm living in North Carolina now, but when I was in New York, I also had my own nail business, like my own
Right.
studio and whatnot. But when I
Mhm.
started practicing, I was working out of my house because, like I said, I was in college. So I was taking clients
Mhm.
at my home.
Right.
Um, and once my name started getting out there within the city, you get more popularity, more people want to come to you. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I
Right.
don't want this many people at my house. So I tried to work in a salon setting,
Right.
and I noticed that that was not for me. Um,
Mhm.
and so that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to go get my own nail studio. So I did that for about a
Mhm.
year, and that definitely worked out
Exactly.
for me much better than working in a salon. So
Mhm.
I here to North Carolina, I was like, okay, I tried to do a salon setting again, and I was like, this is not for me. I got to go get my own space.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How was that getting your own space? Was it hard? Was it easy in terms of like in your own space?
Well, when I was in New York, it wasn't that challenging, but I think that's because I was there for 5 years, so I knew the area. I've
Right.
only been in North Carolina for 6 months. Wait, no,
Okay.
eighth month. I think I'm on my eighth month, but
Okay.
I ain't been here that long, so I don't know much of nothing. In North Carolina, the city of Charlotte is so much bigger than where I was at.
Right.
So, trying to get somewhere, you got to drive like 20 minutes just to get to like a simple store. Where in New York, you could walk down the street and it's a corner store right
Wow.
there. It's completely different here. So, it was really hard, like navigating and networking because I don't
Mhm.
know anybody. I just came out here wanting
Right.
to get away from New York. So that was
Mhm.
definitely a challenge. But there are a lot of opportunities in North Carolina. I would say that
Mhm.
definitely as far as like opening a business. There's a lot of places that are looking for people to like lease from and whatnot. So it was more
Right.
so just like finding a space that I felt comfortable and that fit my aesthetic properly. So I finally found a
Mhm.
place, and the lady that I rent from, she's actually really nice and works with me. I don't have any problems there, so I really appreciate that. It's been pretty smooth so far, but getting everything together, like
Mhm.
designing the studio and deciding like what colors and how you want it to feel inside,
Right.
that's definitely a challenge.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I definitely want to get into just in regards to like with pricing nail service, especially with press on nails, because I like how with a lot of nail artists, now, especially, the video that Ball Pit Nails did about, charging what you're worth and, price what
Mhm.
you're worth, taking into consideration, the products, the time you spend on a nail service. So what are some things in regards to your nail services that you take into account when you're doing like, maybe like acrylics, gels, nail art and things of that nature?
So the first thing that you take into account would be how much of the products that you are using and the quality of those products. I would say
Mhm.
that's probably the first thing that you put in when you're like, okay, how much am I going to charge for this service? But
Right,
as you become more skilled throughout the years, then you also have to start charging for your skill.
right.
Charging for the retention of your sets and things of that nature. And I think that's
Mhm.
a struggle with a lot of nail artists, especially the
Right.
young girls that I have mentored just in my 3-year nail career. That's something I
Mhm.
always mention to them like, hey, you're doing great, but you're forgetting to charge for the quality or charge
Right.
for skill set because you ask somebody to do a French and their lines might be a little crooked, but yours are like perfect. You have to charge for that.
Right.
That's probably like a huge like issue in within itself is like forgetting to charge, you know, how long it took you to, practice how to get these characters to look right on this small nail. You got to add that in. So I would say like the cost of your products, your
Mhm.
skill set, the quality of the products, if you're
Right.
using super expensive products. um what else? The retention of your sets, And then also, if you're using something that probably won't last as long,
Right.
then you wouldn't charge as much. So all of those things kind of factor in. Or if you're like doing something that you're not as confident in, maybe you're practicing something new, you
Hmm.
probably won't charge as much for something that you know for a fact, like I got this down packed. And also another thing is time. Because some people work faster than others, but if you're doing something more quickly, but the quality is great, then you would charge more as well because you're getting that person in and out at a more like faster process than someone else would, but you know the quality is still there. So all of those things, like, you have to charge.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Especially because the products we use, like products ain't cheap. You know what I mean? Like a
You're
thing
going
of
up.
like a thing of polish is like, whether it's C&D or Prey Gel or whatever, it
Mhm,
costs you $14 to $20.
mhm,
So that's something that people have to take into account, especially like acrylics, 10, 15, $20. You
mhm.
know what I mean? Because the thing is, it's high quality products. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? So, it's like, those things I take into account, especially like how you said the time, the complexity of the design. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like how you said, and I like how you pointed out, like if it's something that you can't do or something that you're not well at yet, then don't charge very high.
Right.
So that's definitely something that people have to consider. But also too, like how'd you get into like press on nails?
Let me think. I can't remember when I started that, but I would say definitely around the time that I started character art. So that was probably a year ago.
Hmm.
And it was more so like I just want to practice,
Right,
and I don't have enough hands around me to practice, and I'm
right.
messing up my nails because I keep popping them off. So I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
let me practice on some press-ons. And then I'm like, oh, this would be something good to like add on as
Right,
a extra like way to make money.
right.
And it's always like a really good thing when it comes to nails. It's like so
Hmm.
broad. You don't only have to just provide the service. There's so many other things. So press-ons was like
Right.
it really helped my creative outlet in terms of like being able to like practice art and whatnot. So I'll just like buy a couple tips and practice some characters on that instead of like doing all that work and then taking it right off.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But like, what are like some of your favorite characters to paint?
I really like anime, and it can be any kind. I love anime because it is very like colorful,
Right.
in my opinion. Some characters, if you do like American characters, it's like really flat.
Hmm.
Speak like you don't have to have like much shadowing and things like that. But when you do anime,
Right.
there's like elements, there's fire, just so many colors. It's like a lot more vivid. So I really like practicing animation. Um,
Right.
Disney characters are always fun because it's just
Mhm.
nostalgic. So, like you just
Right,
want to put it on
exactly.
your nails and be like, look, it's SpongeBob. But
Right,
so that's always fun. And it gains a lot of interaction if you do like strawberry
Yeah.
shortcake and Scooby
Mhm.
Doo, because that's what
Right.
gains people's attention because they can
Mhm.
recognize that. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, I kind of like it all. If it's colorful, I'm with it.
Mm. Yeah, right, exactly. I'm the same way. I love doing like colorful nail art. Like that's really my style, like colors and different characters and things like that. Especially I like doing characters in my own style too. You
Yes,
know.
I like that. I love when I see nail artists who like kind of add their art style to things. Love
Mhm.
it. Love to see it.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. But I definitely want to get into YouTube. So what got you started with doing like YouTube?
So with YouTube, I decided to do that because I just started feeling like I was getting a lot of questions when I started nail school. Because
Mhm.
I was not telling anybody when I started nail school. I didn't tell any of my colleagues like, "Oh, I've been practicing for 2 years." I didn't say that because I didn't want
Mhm.
anybody to look at me and be like, "You already know how to do nails."
Right.
But once they found out that's exactly what they was doing to me, but they would like be
Right.
asking questions and I would have so much advice and like things to like help them with their skills and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, I feel like a lot of times there's people that gatekeep things that are like really simple. And being
Mhm.
that I was self-taught, I
Right.
made so many mistakes that I laugh at now that I know better, but I laugh at it in my head like I can't believe I used to do this just to get this
Right.
result. like so easy now. So I'm like, let me start a YouTube channel and like kind of help beginners who are trying to figure things out so
Right.
that you don't have to go through so much trial and error like I did when I started, and like
Hmm.
so much research, because I researched a lot, like following different people, trying to
Right.
find the right nail brushes, the right
Hmm.
products, the right way to do things, all of that stuff. So I'm like, I
Hmm.
want to start a YouTube channel so that I can help beginner nail techs like me, you know,
Hmm.
get it up and running and not have to like run into so many like technical difficulties when it comes to like finding products and stuff. But I don't really I don't upload as much as I should. I'd be so busy. I probably should get back on that. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's kind of why I started it.
Mm. Yeah, but in regards to like nail school, what was the journey like being in nail school? Did you find it difficult or easy? Like, what's the journey, in regards to you going to nail school in terms of experience?
Nail school was very easy. It wasn't a challenge at all, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Um, but what I would say about nail school, I'm not sure about how all schools are. I wish that my nail school had challenged me a little bit more. But
Hmm.
the thing about school, and I think it's kind of like all around for this, because when I talk to people who have been to like cosmetology school or SD
Hmm.
school and whatnot, they don't necessarily teach you the art side. They want you to know specifically things that are for your state board exam. They want to make sure you have those things down packed. So
Hmm.
when it comes to like all the art and design and stuff, the fun things, you're not really going to learn that. They're going to teach you the basics so that you can pass the test and make sure you know how
Right.
sanitize and sterilize properly. So I wish that they challenged me more in the other area, because getting the sanitization and disinfection, you could get that down packed within like 2 weeks, but they really drill that in your head for
Hmm.
however many weeks class was. That was like the most important thing.
Hmm. And to add on to that, like, I took cosmetology courses in my high school, and you do have a point, like, you don't really get to much of the fun stuff. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I mean, we kind of did at my high school, like we did like, our own hairstyles, or like, like our own like nail sets. But then again, for the most part, like how you said, they do drill safety sanitation in your head. And the
Yes.
thing is that, the thing about nail education, outside of state board, is that there's so many things that you can learn, from nail prep to doing
Mhm.
acrylic to gel and nail art and things like that. So there's so much education at your disposal,
Yeah.
that's out there. So, so that's something that, we got to really expand our knowledge, essentially mostly on our own, so
Right.
that's the thing.
Which I don't like, especially
Yeah.
because I had a teacher who was very knowledgeable, and she was great at nail art. She showed me all of her little portfolio and whatnot. She could
Mm-hmm.
do so much more than what she was teaching. And they did have a nail art, like a separate nail art course, but you would have
Right.
to take that after you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
But still, overall, I feel like for the cost of nail school, I feel like they definitely should have offered more. Like they didn't even teach the
Yeah.
kids ombre.
Yeah. We didn't learn ombre,
Nothing. Just
you know.
made pedicures, a little polka dot maybe,
Yeah, and like an acrylic nail.
an acrylic nail, no gel, no nothing, no structured manicures, none of that. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's more than acrylic out there.
Yeah, right, exactly. And the thing is that also too, they don't keep you up to date with what's going on now very
Mm,
much. And that's the thing when I took cosmetology courses at my high school, is that, we learned about safety sanitation and the manicures and pedicures, but the nail section is only a small section. So, and
right.
even before I jumped into cosmetology courses at my high school, I had to learn stuff on my own. And even afterwards, I'm still learning more
Mhm.
stuff on my own and stuff like that. So yeah, that's really the entire thing with that.
And what I love about nails in general, like the business, it's always growing. So there's always
Right.
something to learn. It's definitely a continuing education field. There's
Mhm.
there's ever going to be a time where it's not going to be nothing new that's coming out. So as a
Right.
nail artist, it's your responsibility to stay up to date on what's coming out. And you don't have to provide every service, but
Yeah.
it's good to be aware and knowledgeable on just about everything if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay in the know, absolutely. But I definitely want to get into in regards to what are some tips that you could provide just in regards to social media, especially if it's a brand new nail artist or nail tech that wants to get their work out there.
Mhm. I would say to always promote yourself, and remain confident in yourself and in your art.
Right.
Because it is so easy to get discouraged when it comes to social media. You
Hmm.
you are definitely going to see all types of art and things, and you're going to be like, man, I want to do this, I wish I could do this. Just keep it in your head, like you're going to get better. All of these people
Yeah.
who are like amazing artists, everybody starts somewhere, and that's
Yeah.
something that I had to teach myself, because I've only been doing nail art for a year and some now. So
Mm.
it's like when you first start, you're looking at all these amazing artists. You're like, man, I want to be able to do this, and why can't I do this? But just remain motivated and practice. You have to practice.
Mm.
If you just gonna look online and see what everybody else doing and not practice, you're never gonna get better. So definitely
Mm.
practice, stay motivated, post your work. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I definitely want to get into, back to the character-based nail art. So that's something that you're very, very good at. And I love your work. Your work is
Thank
phenomenal.
you.
And I definitely want to go ahead and ask, like, what do you think are some of the common mistakes that people make in regards to doing like character-based nail art in your perspective?
So that is so funny because a lot of times when I am doing people's nails, every character set that I do, I've never done before. Like I've never practiced
Mm.
it before. Every
Wow, really?
I can't, yeah. The only set that I have ever
Okay.
done on someone, to my memory, that is like, oh, I practiced this before, was when I did SpongeBob on recently on a girl here in North Carolina. But other than
Okay.
that, people will be like, "Oh, I want you to do who was it? Bugs Bunny or something like that." And I'm like,
Right.
"Okay, like I'm with it. I'm up for the challenge, but I never did it before. I've never practiced this character before." So I wing everything basically.
Mm.
I'm a winger. So I
Okay.
and I'm one of those artists where it's like I see the picture and I paint it or draw it or whatever.
Right.
So I don't exactly like know like, okay, I should do this circle like this. I know Ball Pit Addict, she shows ways to like break down certain characters, like to do like a circle
Shapes.
and then break it in half. Yeah, like that. And I
Mhm.
think that maybe I do that, but I'm not
Mhm.
yet able to kind of like put that together and explain to others like this is how I do the character.
Right.
I really wing it, and hopefully it comes out right, and it just be coming out right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I find that very, very interesting. But I definitely want to get into the products. So what are some like your favorite products to use when doing like nail art?
Oh, my number one is Nails by Dev. Definitely because when I started doing character art, I was using a paintbrush from Michaels. It wasn't even like a nail art brush. So the diameter of the brush itself, it was way too thick, but I was doing it. So Nails by Dev, she is a nail artist who started coming out with like her own products that were
Mhm.
specifically made for nail artists, and I really appreciate that because it upped my nail art game 100%. So I definitely will always promote her products. Um, oh, another guy, his name is Tino Vo.
Mhm.
He's a really great nail artist, and he has tons of
Mhm.
products that are like really good for all different types of nail artists out there. You can do so many different things with his products. Um, Vivian,
Mhm.
she has products as well, and she promotes people like for the products that she uses, she'll have them all on her page. So she has a lot of products
Right.
that she uses, and they're all like they're super cool products though, like stuff you ain't never heard before. Like it glows in the dark or it reacts to heat and cold and stuff. Like she has really like
Mm.
them type of products where you got to
Very
do
interesting.
research to learn how to use them. You
Mhm.
got those type of products.
Mhm.
That's it.
All right, that's really, really cool. But I definitely want to ask, like, I want to get your take in regards to the nail industry. So, with your experience being in the nail industry, what is your take, in regards to just the growth of the industry? It could be from like the products to education. If you want to touch more about that. So just what's your take on, the nail industry?
Mm. My take on the nail industry, it is as as I'm growing as a nail artist, I'm starting to learn more about the nail industry. I think before I didn't really pay attention to it as much. I was kind of just doing my own thing. But
Right.
the more that I grow, especially on social media, and more people like look up to me as like
Right.
somebody who is like a creator and things like that.
Mhm.
The nail industry it's interesting. I would
Mhm.
say it's a little more challenging to nail artists of color. I don't think that we get as much recognition as we should. Um,
Agreed.
and so I have decided recently, I say like within this new year, I've decided, I want to use and promote more products that are being produced by people of color, because they are out there and they are of great quality, but they
Right.
don't get pushed as much.
Right.
Um, so I'm like, well, why am I over here making these people millionaires when I could be helping, my own people? So um,
Mhm.
I want to do that because I recognize that there are some great Black nail artists out there that don't get the recognition or the shine that they should. And I don't know if you
Mhm.
recently there was a story about I think it was like TikTok people who like work within like coding and stuff like that, saying like they have the power to push certain certain creators profiles more so that it's shown more on the feed, as if we didn't
Mhm.
already know that, but we know that, we can see it.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I just try my hardest to promote the people that I feel like should be getting more recognition,
Mhm.
regardless of race, but it's still a factor. And then
Mhm.
also within the industry, as far as education, I haven't decided yet, but if I could open a nail school, I definitely would. And
Mhm.
I would I'd be more inclined to focus more on nail art,
Right.
because that's a huge reason as to why so many girls that I see now, that's the reason that they're getting into it, because they see the nail art.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's not really fair to like allow them to, they're going to join this school because they think they're going to school and they're about to be, you know, painting characters and drawing all these types of different things. And all you're doing
Mhm.
is showing them how to properly paint, use gel polish, something like that. So it's like, I would probably like open a school so that I'd be able to, introduce more of the art side
Right.
to future nail artists. Um,
Mhm.
because I feel like that's definitely lacking when it comes to nail school, and I hear that a lot from the girls that I've met, from the different nail techs that I've met. They're like, "Yeah, girl, they didn't teach me nothing in school. I didn't learn anything. I had to learn it on my own." And that's not fair, because you're paying
Right.
thousands of dollars
Right.
to
That's a lot of money.
yeah, to not learn what you truly went there for. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, where do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years? Besides like the nail school and things like that.
5 to 10 years, I see myself, I think I would still be doing nails.
Mhm.
I probably I probably would have, I'm definitely gonna have a set clientele. Probably won't
Mhm.
be North Carolina. I could see myself traveling, touring
Mhm.
different cities,
That'd be really
teaching
cool.
classes, and definitely linking up with other nail artists to teach like art classes and things of that sort. Definitely by
Mhm.
5 years, and possibly having a nail school and living out that dream of teaching nail art to young nail
Mhm.
artists.
Yeah, that'd be really, really amazing. But last but not least, where could people find you on social media and how could people support you and support your nail art and what you do?
So my social media is nails by Ness period underscore. And that's across the board. That's my TikTok, that's my Facebook, that is my
Mhm.
Instagram. And a way to support me more, I would say like and share my videos, follow me on YouTube, and stay on the lookout for any new products that I decide to drop, because they are coming.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ness, for jumping onto the show. Your work is absolutely great. Your character
Thank
work
you.
is phenomenal. And I like how you post like your work because and I think you did a video where you showed like your evolution of, your growth and that's really, really cool to see, because that really inspires others to say, yo, you could do it too. So
You
thank you
know,
so much for this conversation.
thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Be sure to check out my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye-bye.